You've got a match. My hormonal teenage self couldn't have been more excited. I quickly lost interest in my homework I had been working on that night and opened up my phone, almost as fast as I could light it up with the notification. I clicked on the icon, staring intently into Tinder as it opened. Of course I was excited. I ran all the possibilities in my head, all the things that could happen. This could be the girl of my dreams. No, it didn't appear as though I matched with the girl of my dreams. This looked more like a girl of my nightmares that would shake the vilest creature in the deepest pit of hell to a crooked bone. Smiling from ear to ear literally was my match. In the first picture of her profile, no name, no age, only pictures. The photo itself seemed to be professionally taken. It was a full-body picture. She was dressed in some sort of very formal black dress, and there was nothing about her body that seemed out of the ordinary. She had black hair that was down and presented nicely, likely for the picture or whatever event the picture was taken of, but I didn't give much thought to that, but you'll understand why. Her skin was well kept and unseemingly blemished. Come to think of it now, her face was the only off-putting thing about this picture, but oh God, that face. Her eyes didn't sit inside where the sockets should be. They bulged out, seeming too far large for her face. They had no whites. The iris were everything. The dark purple, almost black. The eyes had no detail. They were just blank and empty. Her teeth were normal human teeth, and there would be just nothing wrong with them if she didn't have so many more than any person should honestly have. Her jaw was wide, very wide. It opened from the bottom of one ear to the other, teeth showing in their entirety, as she gave a nice, big smile to the camera. I was disgusted by whatever Photoshop job this had been, but I was also intrigued. It was a really good edit after all. I thought it was just maybe some artist who wanted to show off their skills or something. But before I engaged in the chat, I noticed they had more pictures. 5 more to be exact. I swiped to the second one. The same girl in that same dress and all the same grotesque facial features was front and center in this picture. Once again, but both the quality and setting, this was much different. It looked like it had been taken by a cell phone. The picture wasn't even level. That's not the detail I first recognized though. She was levitating off of the ground. The ground as well as the walls and the ceiling were seemingly made of corpses. All that provided light in the photo, and a half-melted candle on the ground, and the flash from a camera. This one honestly just looked too real for me. The bodies all had pretty distinct features. It almost made me sick. Some looked like they were just skeletons with everything decomposed. Others looked very fresh, like really fresh. One thing that many of them seemed to have in common was they were missing the lower jaw. An odd detail. I scrolled past this one quicker than the last. It upset me the more and more I looked at that. But the third was more confusing. The third picture was of her, once again in the black dress as she hovered in the middle of the empty field this time. The quality of this picture was like the last and the first. It seemed like if it was professionally taken and edited. The sky was almost an impossible shade of red. As coincidence, the entire image was a sort of a red tint on it. Other than that, it simply looked like as if it was just some sort of farmland. This one didn't really disturb me like the last, but it had some eerie type of feeling to it. It was as if the picture was taken in like a post-apocalyptic or an apocalypse type, like as if the world was ending and they were showing me. Once again, I thought of it as just some sort of artist trying to compel these sorts of feelings with this picture in the way they took and edited them. I was impressed, but I was still pretty fucking disturbed. The fourth photo made my heart sink a little. This picture of the girl was taken in front of the building of the university that I was attending in the university campus, a building not even 5 minutes of a walk away from me. It was nighttime and she was alone. She was, once again, floating, yet this time above these stairs. It was in front of the columns of the building. She didn't look any less real in this photo. I scrolled back through the first few and noticed how surprisingly alike she looked in all of the pictures. Despite their different angles, this art, if you could say, was too good. It was honestly starting to make me sick. The fifth picture I thought must be impossible. It was of her inside another building, but I knew the building it was. I knew it from the colors of the wall. I knew it from the lights above her, just floating, her body still. Most of all, I knew where she was because of the numbers on the door behind her. It was only a few doors from my apartment, the apartment I was in right now. I quickly scrolled to the last photo, and it was a close-up of her right in front of my door. I dropped my phone and ran to my door to make sure it was locked. Luckily it was. I am always good about that. But out of curiosity, I would peek through the peephole to see if someone did happen to be there. I placed my eye upon the hole, where I got a glimpse of shoulders and the back of a head with long hair. In a quick motion, the head turned around while the shoulders remained still. It was her. She widened her smile, ear to ear once again. I jumped back from the door and I ran to the desk to pick up my phone. Of course, the disgusting picture of her in front of my door was the first thing to pop up. As I opened my phone, I quickly exited Tinder and dialed 911, and the operator picked up.
911, what's your emergency?
I knew that location was the first thing you should tell and give out to a 911 operator, because if something happens to you while you're on the line, they only have possibility of helping you if you know where you are. I gave the operator my location, which I am leaving out of this story so I don't expose myself, and then have a brief, detailed, scarce summary of what happened the past few minutes. I left out some of the more extreme details because I wanted this to be taken seriously. There's someone outside of my apartment door. I just got a match on Tinder. When I clicked on it to see the photos, it was just a bunch of weird ones of her. It doesn't matter, but she was messed up. Very messed up. The last photos were of her outside of my apartment door. And when I went to look at the people, she was still there. I don't know how to put this. Please help.
All right, sir. Has she threatened you in any way? Has she tried to break into your apartment? We can't just send an officer because you feel scared of some girl you met on Tinder who happens to live in the same apartment building as you. Are you calling because she looks different?
I was speechless. I was infuriated. How could they do this? Did they think that this was just ridiculous? That I was calling them for a girl? I exploded into a rant over the phone. So what if she hasn't done anything yet? What the hell is wrong with you? She found my apartment. My exact apartment, and is standing outside of it. We only matched minutes ago. This isn't right. There was a sudden silence on the other end. I felt like I was about to scream. 911 just hung up on me. I was eyeing up the door for a second when I heard someone on the phone once again. It was someone different. She talked to me once again. This time my phone was up to my ear.
Sir, can you hear me? Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm here, I replied desperately.
Who you were just talking to was not 911 dispatch. I need you to listen to my next instructions very carefully. If you hear another voice other than mine on this call, you need to hang up immediately and wait for me to call back. If the entity you have encountered attempts to communicate with you in any way, for the time being, you need to ignore it. Do not leave your apartment unless I instruct you to. Now, I need your precise location. We caught on to this one early on, so we should be able to contain it with ease.
I was hesitant to even talk. Are you the police?
No, I work for an agency whose purpose it is to locate and contain or eliminate entities like the one you had the unfortunate luck of encountering tonight. I need your location now.
Maybe I was stupid for giving this lady on the phone my location, but with everything that had just hit me, I didn't hesitate. I gave her my address and apartment number. She was silent for only about 15 seconds.
All right, a team is en route to your apartment. Sit tight. Now we need to lay out a few more rules. I have the floor plans for your apartment. It looks like you have a studio with one closet and one bathroom. Can you fit inside the closet?
Yeah. But why do I need...
If the lock on your apartment door unlocks, I need you to quickly shut off the lights and climb into your closet. Be silent until you hear the door shut once again. If any sinks or your shower turns on, I need you to shut them off as quickly as possible. If you hear splashing coming from your toilet, I need you to flush it immediately and close the lid. I need you to repeat these instructions back to me so that I know you understand.
Okay. If I hear my door unlock, quickly shut off the lights and hide in the closet. Turn off any sinks or my shower if they turn on themselves. Flush the toilet and close the lid if I hear anything from it. I don't understand how these things can happen or why I do any of this.
If you want to live long enough to see the sunrise tomorrow, you'll follow those instructions exactly. Write them down if you need to. I'm going to need any details and evidence you have that you haven't said over the phone already. Yes, I could still hear what you were saying at the beginning of the call. You said you matched with her on Tinder. Does she have a name?
Yes, I matched with her on Tinder, but her profile didn't have a name or an age, just pictures that... Once again, I was interrupted by a new operator. It seemed she was urgent to exchange as much information as possible. Witnessing what I had, I didn't object.
I need you to screenshot those pictures if you can. Is it still possible for you to access them?
Yes, give me a moment. I opened Tinder up again and clicked the profile. I quickly screenshot each picture. Now what? What do you want me to do to them?
Text them to the 911 number. Trust me, it'll work.
I sent each picture as fast as I possibly could.
All right, looks like I've got 7. Give me a moment while I send these over to our intel team for identification. We might be able to find out enough about this thing to get rid of it right away. I need you to keep an eye out your window on the street. There will be...
Wait. Did you just say 7? I only sent 6. Her profile had 6 pictures. How did you get 7? I quickly opened back up my texts. I did send 7. The first 6 were of her profile and the 7 was me. It was taken from outside of my window, right outside, and it was recent. I recognized that the clothes I was wearing were what I'm wearing right now. On the upper left-hand side of the picture, there was a hand pressed up against my window. I quickly turned toward my window to see no one there. There couldn't have been. I was up on the 3rd floor. There was nothing on the side of that building that would allow anybody to climb it that high. No one could have been there to take that picture. I was quick to let the operator know, though. I was not calm. I didn't send that one. It's sent by itself, though, from my phone somehow. It's of me, just a minute ago, while we were talking.
All right, calm down. It's trying to scare you. It wants to get in your head. It wants you worked up so that you'll do something rash. But you're not going to do that, are you?
No, ma'am.
All right, good. Now, as I was saying, there will be one man and one woman in black suits and holding briefcases that get out of a large SUV. The driver has been instructed to drop them off on the side of your apartment. He knows where it is. They should be arriving right about now. Go check outside your window.
I looked outside of my window, down to the street below, and I didn't see this SUV or 2 people in suits. All I saw were a few pedestrians and a university bus. I don't see anyone down there. Are you sure that they're on that side? It's easy to end up on the wrong street. down here?
Yes, I'm sure. You're certain you don't see anyone? No SUV?
I'm sorry, but no, I don't.
Fuck.
I heard her mutter under her breath. I then faintly heard her voice yelling towards someone else.
That ain't it. Tell them to keep moving.
She then adjusted her mic and began talking to me again.
All right, they've been swindled by the entity. We're figuring that out now. Just be on the lookout for them to arrive. Once they get there, we can start the process of getting rid of this thing.
Right then, I heard a firm knock at my door. I walked over and peeped through the hole again. One man, one woman, both in a very nice black suit. I think your agents are here. They just knocked on the door, and I saw them through the peephole. Should I let them in? The operator practically screamed through the phone.
No, do not let them in. Those are not our agents. This is the entity trying to get you to open the door. Don't fucking do it. Our agents will not knock. They won't try to get into your door. Get back to your window and watch for them to arrive. Tell me when they do.
After a few moments of waiting, I finally saw a large SUV pull up in front of the apartment, and two people get out. One man and one woman, nice suits and briefcases. After they got out of the car, they looked up at my window, and they made their way towards the entrance. Then the SUV drove off. All right, they're here.
Good. They're going to scout out the building, figure out what we're dealing with, and assess if another team needs to be called in. I'll let you know anything you need to do when I find out. Just stay on the line.
I had started to feel relieved, albeit more confused though. I did believe these people were here to help. I don't know what they could do to help me though. How could two people from whatever organization this is possibly deal with this thing at my door? I contemplated the possibilities as I sat there in my chair for the first time in a while. Finally calming down a little bit. This little moment of peace was just that. For not long after I sat down, I heard electronics click from my door as I jumped away from my seat. I remember the operator's instructions. I quickly hit the light switch and picked up the kitchen knife before hopping into my closet. The door just unlocked. I'm hiding with the lights off, as you told me, I whispered into the phone. She responded quietly, as fast as the message she could mutter.
Just be quiet and don't move. She can't open your closet door, and she has no interest in taking your things. No matter what she says, do not respond and do not react. Do not leave the closet until you hear the door close again. Do not hang up this call.
As soon as she finished speaking, the door opened. I didn't hear any footsteps, but I knew she was in. I focused on controlling my breathing to make it quiet. I must have been in there for a good 5 minutes before I heard any noise. Nothing. Not a step. Not a door opening. Not a single thing moved. I couldn't even hear her breathing. I was tempted to just leave, but I did as I was told and stayed still. Doing that had served me well, up until this point. I just about gasped and gave myself away when she eventually spoke, in a sweet, delicate voice.
What's wrong? Don't want to hang out tonight?
After she got no response, she waited about 10 seconds and say something new, trying to be more provocative each time. This went on for a few minutes.
Come on, we matched, and you know it. You know you want me, and I want you. Well, if you're not ready yet, that's all right. I can wait. I can wait a long time. I'll wait for however long I need to for you to come out. You know, I don't bite. I'm just a very, very good kisser. You can ask the others. You can meet them too. But why don't you try it yourself? Just come on out. What have you got to lose? I know how lonely you are. I know I'm the only one you'll ever have a chance with. At least, I'm the only one who will love you forever. You know you'll always be nothing without me. I'm the only one, the only thing that will ever bring meaning to your life.
She got more assertive. I could hear her voice getting closer each time she spoke, trying to get me to come out. Eventually, she was so close to the closet door, she was practically touching it. She might have well been. It was obvious that she knew I was in there. But the operator said to just sit, and she couldn't open the door. I trusted her for now.
You know you're a worthless, rotting sack of shit. You're not even good enough for the maggots. You've done nothing with your meaningless short life, and you never will, even if I let you live past this night. You can come with me, or you can burn. No one is coming to save you. No one can.
She stopped for a moment. I think she heard what I heard. There were steps in the hallway. Someone was walking around on my floor.
Oh, you talked to them.
She let out a giggle, one of those that seemed innocent and cute if it were given in any other context with a normal girl, but I found it to be far from it.
You fucking bitch. You'll pay for that. You won't even get what I gave the others. I'll rip your guts out right before your eyes and make you watch all of it. You'll wish you were dead, but I won't kill you. Not until...
Approaching enemy manifestation now. Stand by. I heard a man's voice say from the outside of my apartment. She screamed in fury before I heard the apartment door slam shut. A split second later, with the force I don't think I could even replicate with all of my might if I tried, I exited the closet and turned on my light. As I ran to the door to look at the people, I couldn't see anything. What just happened? I think I heard one of your people outside of my door before she charged out. She was really angry. I asked the operator, who I had hoped was still on the line.
One of them tried to catch her right there, but it didn't work. It wasn't fully manifested. He, as well as his partner, are trying to locate the entity now, but we're having no success. A larger team is very close. No need to look out for this one. We know how to get there now. Our priority has changed from containment to extermination. This one is much more dangerous than we could have predicted.
What am I supposed to do now? The voice on the line immediately changed from the woman's voice to that girl's enraged voice. I immediately hung up as I was told. This may have saved me for a moment. As in process of hanging up, I noticed my phone was at 2% battery. I quickly found my charger and plugged my phone in. A minute later, I got a call from 911. I promptly answered.
Sir, can you hear me? Hello, sir.
It used its own to tell me to open the door. I heard shuffling outside of my room. I first thought she was back, but I noticed a lot of people at this time. I could hear a faint dialogue from outside of my room, and it sounded like they were assembling a piece of furniture. Do you know who is outside of my room right now? I asked the operator.
Our second team arrived a few minutes ago. Some of them are downstairs setting up a base for this operation. Others are up by your room preparing equipment. Just let them do their thing, and this will be over really soon. As long as we're fighting what we think we're fighting. Dear God, I hope so.
What about my neighbors? What about the people walking around in the hallways and everyone else in the building? Do they know about this? Are they in danger? What happened to them?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. They're just not here. I don't know how to explain it to you in a way you would understand. They won't be seeing our team, you, or this entity for the time being, and we won't be seeing them. They certainly aren't in any danger, if that brings any comfort. But I'm afraid you still are.
I once again confused by this new piece of information, but I didn't have energy to question anything at this point. I just wanted this to be done and over with as soon as possible. It's here. I heard a few different things turn on. I don't know what they were, but I take it they were some sort of machinery or equipment they had just finished up setting up or something. A few moments of silence passed before I heard a man mutter, "Oh shit." Seconds later, I heard light bulbs explode before gunfire erupting in the hallway outside of my room. I sprawled out on the floor and got as flat as possible, though no gunfire ever made it my way into my room. These gunshots were quickly followed by an even louder scream from what I assumed to be the girl. The shooting went on for a few minutes to 2, and after that, which I heard a few magazines drop to the floor and some rifles being racked as well, as some loud dialogue and cursing happened. I started to put my shoes on, hoping that this was over now. But besides that, I felt safer with my shoes on anyway. Did they get it? I hopefully asked the operator.
No, it plowed right through our guys and got away somewhere in the stairwell. She killed a couple of them and injured a couple more as well. We underestimated her again, but now we know what we have to do. We're almost through with this. Just keep a level head and you'll be all right.
I sat down, silenced. 2 people died on my behalf. 2 people died because I, being stupid, had to be on Tinder, messing around. I checked my phone. It hadn't gotten much of a charge at this time. It was only at 7%. I waited there for another 5 minutes. I just sat in guilt, with my head resting in my hands, thinking of how this could have been avoided, before I heard something coming from my bathroom. I picked up my phone, unplugged it, and walked over, pushing the door open to get a peek. Hands were coming out of the toilet bowl and gripping the seat. She pushed down against the seat as she attempted to force herself up out of the toilet. I screamed and fell back against the wall. Her head made it out. She was wounded, blood covering her arms and face. I could see that one of her eyes had been shot out, and blood still ran from the socket. She turned towards me as she attempted to pull out the rest of herself. She clenched her jaw, but revealed all of the teeth to me, also covered in blood. Oh my God, she's climbing out of my toilet.
It's too late. Go. Run. Now. Do you understand? Get out of your apartment.
I unlocked my door and charged out. All of my lights were out. They had all been shattered. The hallway looked like it was a trench from a war. Blood lined the floor, and it was splattered along the walls and ceiling. There was broken equipment that was alien to me, all up and down the hallway, which I narrowly missed while running away from my room. I could feel spent brass underneath my feet. The worst sight was the bodies. 2 men in body armor, with rifles strapped around them, laying lifelessly on the ground. One was flipped over and had a trail of blood behind him, as if he was thrown. The other had his upper body propped against the wall. His lower jaw had been ripped out, as blood was shooting out of his mouth and throat, and colored his black uniform red. I deeply wish I watched the ground in front of me as I ran, because I took not 2 steps ahead and stepped right onto this man's jaw. I can't even begin to tell you how I felt, feeling that underneath my foot as I ran. I could feel his teeth crunch. Where do I go? What do I do now? I frantically asked the operator.
Get to the stairwell. Go down. I know you're used to there only being a few flights of stairs because the first floor is where they ended. You'll notice they go down further this time. I need you to proceed until you reach the bottom. There, you'll find where our team set up their base of operations.
I ran down the stairs faster than I think I've ever run in my life, down a flight of stairs before. I didn't feel like I was going to trip or my legs fall from underneath me from getting tired. Rather, I felt like as if my legs were outpacing me. It must have been a good 10 floors worth of steps before I reached the bottom. But I got there so quickly with the energy that I had. It was definitely my adrenaline pumping. At the bottom of the stairs were a ton of boxes. They looked as if they were military grade or just made to carry really expensive things. A number of them were open and their contents were emptied. I guess this was where they had their fancy equipment and then they came up the stairs at. On a few of them were laptops. As I walked over to one, I was startled by what I walked past. Between a couple rows of these boxes, I found another corpse. This one I recognized as being one of the 2 in the suits who had come in earlier. It was the woman. She, like the one man I assumed was the other one on my floor, had her jaw ripped off as well. In her hand was a revolver, a very shiny, quite beefy looking one. If I had to guess, it was a .357 Magnum. I set my phone on the box for a moment as I checked it out. I opened the cylinder and found that none of the 6 primers had been struck. This poor woman couldn't even get a shot off before she got ripped apart. I found one of the team members. They're dead. It's the woman who came up the first time with the man earlier, I notified the operator.
What? That's not possible. We just had communication with her. She was supposed to stay there while the rest of the team... Oh no.
What?
The rest of the team had another engagement with an entity on the higher floor. Their last known contact with it was 4 minutes ago. Our last communication with the agent you're next to was less than a minute ago. The thing is in there with you somewhere.
Just then, the lights in the stairwell from the top to the bottom all exploded rapidly. I jumped into the corner and aimed the revolver at the stairs. A moment passed before I began to see a red light illuminate. Despite being shattered, these lights began to work once again. One by one, they turned on as they had been shattered. I heard humming from many floors above, but I could hear it getting closer. Oh God, she's coming. What the hell do I do now?
Get on one of the computers down there. We've cracked its code. I'm sending you a sound file. Turn up the volume on the laptop. When it gets close, play the audio file. Once it...
My phone was dead, and I thought I was too. Fortunately, I kept a level head, as the operator had told me to do. I kept myself as calm as possible as the humming got closer and made its way down the stairs. I ignored it and set the revolver down next to the laptop and looked through what I could. It was in some sort of weird operating system, and I had no idea how it worked. I found some sort of messaging system, like an email, though I don't think it was quite like that. I found a recent message. This had to be it. I downloaded and opened the contents, turning up the laptop volume to the max. The humming sound stopped as I heard a giggle from behind.
What do you think you're doing? I already told you what was going to happen to you. Are you ready for a kiss now?
I stood up, taking a deep breath, and slowly turned around, with one hand still on the box in front of me.
Well, you better come give it to me.
I somehow was able to deliver a straight face, despite being more afraid than I ever have been in my life, which I assumed was possibly the end. She approached me slowly, opening her smile from ear to ear once again. Slimy, vicious saliva gushing out of her mouth as she came closer. I hit the spacebar on the laptop before throwing myself onto the ground away from her. An annoying constant high-frequency noise filled the stairwell and hurt my ears to no extent, but it did get much worse for her. Her feet touched the ground, no longer levitating. She covered her ears tightly, and her massive jaw practically unhinged from her head as she screamed in agony. I reached up for the revolver next to the laptop. I pulled it in close before cocking it. Then I got 2 hands on it, pointed it forward. I was shaking from the adrenaline, but I managed to get one good breath under control for just long enough to level the rear sights with the front. I squeezed the trigger. Blood splattered on the stairs behind her as part of her head was blown clean off. I stood back up, pulling the trigger as many times as I could. Even when the cylinder was empty, I pulled the trigger a few more times. Once my ears stopped ringing, an application opened on the laptop. The sound file had finished, and I heard the voice of the operator once again.
Anomalous presence no longer detected. You did it, kid. I have no idea how, but you did it. It's over.
I stood for a moment observing the carnage. The red lights faded until they were just gone in the darkness once again. I was in disbelief, both of what I just witnessed and what went down, and I was just trying to stop to see what this thing was. I don't think I'll ever know. I began to walk up the stairs, slow and tired. After I made it up a few flights of stairs, I saw a bright beam coming from above. It was flashlights. A couple dozen people in body armor strapped with expensive rifles and submachine guns ran down the stairs past me. The man in the suit reached down and grabbed the revolver out of my hand as I was passing him. I think subconsciously I jerked it away and aimed it at him, and he backed up for a moment. "Easy now. It's all over. You can relax, man." I took a deep breath and handed over the empty revolver to him. I walked back up to my room, plugged my phone in, and started it up. I just sat with my head resting on my desk for a while before I got a call from 911. I picked it up and the operator began to speak once again.
Well, you did it. We've been hunting this one for a while now. It's gotten more victims than almost all of the others combined, but now it's gone, thanks to you. Are you injured? I can get the paramedics to you if you need them.
I just sat in silence. I didn't have any energy to speak anymore.
All right, you might need a minute to decompress and catch your breath, it seems. Stay in your room for the next hour, and everything will be back to the normal outside of your apartment. Our team, all of the equipment, and the chaos left in the wake of all of this will be out of sight and out of mind. I know it doesn't make any sense to you, and that will only make processing all of this harder. Just know that if you call your emergency line again, we'll be listening, and we'll be here to help. Oh, and one more thing. You would be doing not just us, but the whole world, and yourself a favor if you never spoke about this as if it happened. Our anonymity and secrecy let us help everyone else out there. I hope you understand. Goodbye now. Stay safe.
If you've read this far, you know I've ignored the last thing that the operator said to me. I want everyone out there to know. I want them all to know that you could become a victim to one of these things in just the blink of an eye. I want you to know that there are people out there hunting down these things that seem to not exist in any publicly displayed government information. I don't know what the fuck these things are. I want people to know what to do when they call 911 about something like this. I have no proof. My apartment building did return to normal. I am suddenly missing the text history that I had with 911. I am not matched with any profile on Tinder. I have nothing. It's all gone. I also want to know more. Have any of you fallen victim to one of these things? Have any of you heard of them? What are they? Do you know more about this organization? How was my apartment building changed that night? How was reality bent and shaped back to normal? Please reach out. I need to know more. I was just about to hit the post button when my phone suddenly blew up. You've got a match. You've got a match. You've got a match. You've got a match. My phone displayed it over 100 times. They're coming for me now. I need to make the call. Hello everyone. Before you exit the video, I really need you to do me a huge favor. Go make sure to show some love to Noetic Stories for helping me out on this one. If it wasn't for her doing this part, I wouldn't have had this video. A huge thank you to her. She did a fantastic job, and it was exactly as I had asked and wanted. So definitely go make sure to check out her channel and everything like that. I also want to say thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you finished the video, make sure to comment below and letting me know that you enjoyed it and that you finished the video. This was honestly a very big project for me. I really like this story. And if you would like, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to see more videos like this, make sure to let me know down in the comments. Remember to also check the links in the description. They're to my Twitter, Instagram, everything like that, if you want to keep up to date on all of the videos coming out. And with that being said, stay safe, stay scary, and I'll see you in the next one.